Hello everybody, my name is Biffa and this is the third of 13 planned Dev Diary deep dives coming every Monday all the way through until September, where we take an in-depth look at every Cities Skylines 2 update, including the Colossal Order Dev Diaries, Dev Insights and more. This week we're diving into the topic of public and cargo transportation. And once again, there are so many new and exciting features, and again features from Cities Skyline 1 mods that have been added and lots more to get excited about. We've also made sure this week that the volume on the background video is adjusted correctly to save all of your ears and speakers. Next week is zones and signature buildings, so be sure to subscribe and be here this coming Monday for that Dev Diary deep dive. Right, let's dive right into looking at public and cargo transportation. Right, here we go. Let's see what this has got in store for us.
Transport networks set the rhythm of life in your city. As they move people and cargo, they can create harmony and discord. This finely tuned orchestra of ships, vehicles, planes, and trains is
We just have to go back and look at that view again. Just look at that view. Doesn't it look fantastic? Even with the rain, the models of the ships, the city. Yep, love it, love it, love it.
Ships, vehicles, planes, and trains is yours to conduct. To create a thriving metropolis, maintain a steady beat to keep your city in motion.
Nah, see what you did there? Keep your city in motion. Very clever. Colossal Order, very clever.
You build a city from scratch in Cities Skylines 2. No public transport, no tracks, no runways.
I'm hoping this sort of camera effect that we've got going on here, where it goes through removing. I know the removing, it's probably been recorded at different save games, but we had cinematic camera, didn't we, in Cities Skylines 1? So are we getting some other sort of cinematic camera that enables us to keep our shots the same like this, so we can do this sort of thing? Fantastic if it is, because for content creators like me, that would just be amazing.
Creating these and other transportation networks is a crucial first step. After that, improving and integrating them paves the way for expansion. When you establish your city, citizens can take the bus or a taxi to get where they're going.
So we've already seen bus, taxis, trams, and boats for cargo and stuff as well. So yeah, lots of things in the base game, which is great.
These are the first transport options you'll unlock.
Okay, just want to have a look at this one. And we've got down here, so this is what I'm assuming is the bus station. Not quite sure what that is, although a bit later we're going to talk about electric buses, so maybe that's what that is. Stops we can put in, shelters we can put in, lanes we can add to the road. This is for running our line. This here, I think this is a taxi depot, because then we've got two symbols for taxi. I don't know what these two are. I'm assuming taxi stops and something else. So if you think you know what they are, let me know in the comments below. But we've still got the European and the American options here as well. So that'll be interesting if they change the style of the building, or is it just like the stops and the vehicles? We'll find that out, I guess, as we continue.
They're reliable, cheap.
Oh, there we go. Look, taxi depot, that's this one, but can be upgraded. So again, we're seeing modular buildings all the time. Extra garage, dispatch center, and electric taxis as well. Oh, I hadn't noticed that in my preparation for this video. I'm assuming an extra garage is for the maintenance, which we'll talk about in a bit. Dispatch center for more taxis, I'm guessing, and electric taxis, well, we know what the benefits are of those, less pollution and whatnot. Okay, let's continue.
And easy to route here, there, and everywhere.
Ah, now look at this. What do you see on the screen right here? Insert a new waypoint. So for me, that's different from adding it in to the stops.
Traffic conditions.
Because when you go into there, then we're adding a stop.
Are there
a new route, drag a way. I think, yeah, we're going to talk about waypoints a bit later, but I just wanted to point that out.
It's no big.
Let's just nip back and see that bit again.
Their Achilles heel. It's no big deal in a new metropolis, but it is for a growing city. That's when you'll level up your.
Okay, so talking about trains and things here. A very quick sip of tea. What do you notice in this picture here? So we've got a single train line here. We've got this double train line, which seems to be built in with this sort of like a bypass, and then the internal one. We've got a double stack train, which I think is the external intercity train coming in just because of the size of it. We've got what looks like metro. We've got stairs going down. So is this like a modular upgrade, or is this like a metro place down here? We've got little signs up there, which I'm assuming a metro parking. So is this another modular upgrade we're perhaps seeing?
Public transport. Think trains, trams, and subways.
Oh, and this, I'm stopping like on every single thing. Let's go back. On this one coming up here, we can see, look at the way the roads are. Sort of this offset, this looks like a normal 2-lane road. Or 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is like a 4-lane road, isn't it? Well, that one is as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting the trams. But the fact that it's offset like this, you wouldn't normally be able to do in vanilla Cities Skylines 1 without mods. And is that a Dodge Charger there? Something like that. But yeah, I'm liking this. So we can see this new sort of additions to the way we can set our roads up.
Think trains, trams, and subways. Each one
Car
has
stopped there for the tram. Did you notice that? I'm not going to go back and watch it again. You can if you like.
pros and cons. They're all expensive to build and complicated, requiring depots, tracks, and stops where passengers can buy tickets and get on and off. That means they can't offer.
Okay. Spoke about depots. We'll come back to the meaning of those a little bit later. I like this little view here that we've got of our line with all the different vehicles that are on it. We've got this one highlighted, so it's highlighting this one. There's nobody in it, as we can see, 0 passengers, and there's no little dots. We've got these little dots in these ones here. Reminds me of mini motorways, mini metro games. Where they have the vehicles. This is the game, isn't it? This line here, it'd be like that. But showing you how many are in each one. A nice quick visual representation of how overloaded they could be or unused. Great information there.
The far-reaching service of a bus line or the door-to-door service of a taxi.
U-turns.
On the other hand, they're more efficient. Not least because they.
And this one here as well. What is this going on in the back here? These purple lines shooting up into the sky. It's like a disco going on, a light show. We'll find out about that in a minute, so stick around. Again, we've got our lines. So we've got the lines that we can set up for, I'm assuming, taxi, bus, train, tram, metro, ferry, planes. So we can set up lines for our planes. And then cargo. So we've got planes and ships, trains, trucks. I'm still not sure. I've never seen this have a number in it. Can we set up cargo lines with trucks? That I want to know. So if you know, or if you've seen it anywhere, let me know in the comments below.
Carry more people and cargo and reduce road congestion. Let's start with subways. They're fast.
So again, we've got our underground metro that we can easily add in, or our subway as they're called, which is fantastic that that's in the base game, of course.
High capacity, and they take up very little room when they're underground.
So we've got this one here. So I'm assuming this is either a depot or an overground metro station. So the metro's always got the yellow lines and the white, whatever they're called, thingies on there, on the track. But yeah, depots, they come up a lot, and we're going to talk about those.
If they operate.
Ah, there we go. Overground subway station. Again, included in the base game, and not including this parking. I think this is parking that they've added separately, because when you highlight this, you can see what makes up that model. So yeah, great use of all the parking and the things that we've got.
Above ground, you can run them on elevated tracks so they don't get tangled up.
Cut and fill there as well.
Trams. They're more flexible than trains, so you can more easily add lines to service new and.
Again, we've got this little symbol here, which is showing the actual vehicle by the look of it. Taxis get their own symbol. I think this is the stop by the look of it. Yes, it is, isn't it? And then we've got the schedules here. Day, night, day and night. That is going to be huge, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment as well.
And expanded neighborhoods. Build tram tracks on existing roads, or run them on dedicated tracks if that's the best way to keep the hustle and bustle dial.
Oh, there we go. Add in a stop in. And it looks like the way that sort of moved along, that you can just literally add that anywhere. So we just watch this little bit. Look at that. It all the way along. this little section here, you could add it anywhere. Now, before, we could only add them in certain points. Do you remember? We'd have a node here, say, and a node there, and it would only let you put it here. If you wanted it up here, no, it'd be the next road segment. Now it looks like you've got real finite, infinite control over where these stops can go, which is a thumbs up from me.
Hustle and bustle dialed up. Trains carry loads of people too, and not just suburbanites. They can bring visitors from outside your city in large numbers.
Yeah, outside. This is why I think this is an external train going between cities, because that is a big, looks to me like a double-decker train.
Trains play another critical role.
Okay, so again, I think now we're getting the depot. Look at the size of this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 tracks down here. And there's a lot. It's got this little symbol here. Yeah, I think this is a depot. We're just going to jump back and run that bit again.
If that's the best way to keep the hustle and bustle dialed up.
I like that.
Trains carry loads of people too, and not just suburbanites. They can bring visitors from outside your city in large numbers. Trains play another critical role as cargo transport. Build a cargo train terminal, and you build a
separate
hub where businesses can receive, ship, and store incoming and outgoing goods.
So that, remember what she said there about storing incoming and outgoing goods. So there's warehouses now built into the cargo train stations, which is another interesting thing. So whether they can be upgraded to add more warehouses or warehouses for different items or, you know, stuff like that, like we've had in the Industries DLC, I guess we'll find out.
Water transportation is another option for
doesn't it?
Passenger travel and moving cargo. It's another high-capacity network, though water transport's real potential lies in imports and exports. You see, cargo ships might be slower than trains, but these bad boys can carry 1,000 tons of stuff to and from your city.
So we've seen already that we can create lines for these things. So again, something that a lot of people wanted in Cities Skylines 1 was the ability to create inner city lines. So you'd have cargo from here, go to another cargo hub over the mountains, around the back to another island. So is that something that's going to be possible to do, or is it just external lines that we have? I'm hoping that we'll get both. We will. I'm going to keep saying we will find out. I mean, there's a lot of things that we need to sort of learn, and until we get the game, we're not going to know for 100% unless they're mentioned in a future Dev Diary, I suppose. So now we're going to be talking about trading with other cities. So we'll just listen to this.
Yeah, that's right. You can trade with other cities. So you'll need somewhere to house all the goods and resources coming and going. Easy. Like cargo train terminals, cargo harbors double as cargo storage facilities.
So what can we actually trade? So we know about trading electricity. So we've seen that, or selling electricity. I mean, I think it's been confirmed you can buy it if you need it, but you can sell it if you've got excess. What about other goods as well? So other things that the city makes. Can we trade that in and out and make money? That'd be good.
Like all of the other networks, air transportation has drawbacks. Planes carry fewer passengers and less cargo than ships and trains.
The model of this airport is brilliant. Look at that.
Astronomically expensive and have the footprint of a small town.
I mean, just look at the size of that airport. I'm sort of assuming that all of this, I mean, you've got the end of the lights of the runway there. It goes all the way down over here somewhere. And compare that to the size of your city. So this might have been a sort of a medium-sized city, perhaps. And then you might have built a bit of land out here and put the airport on it and had all your planes ghosting through the buildings when they take off. And that would have been the size. Look at the size of this thing. And apparently astronomical in cost. So, yeah, I'm hoping. And we've got trains here, haven't we? Look at these are train lines. Seems to be very wide, thinner, goes down to... I think we see this better in a picture coming up in a moment, a bit of the video, but these are going to be good, I tell you.
However, air transport has a pretty irresistible advantage. Speed. Plus, planes won't add to road congestion. They don't follow a rigid track, and they make outside connections incredibly easy. The transport mix in your city will become complex.
I mean, look at how much transport's going on. I'm assuming these are all buses. We've got tram stops. We've got the depots. That looks like the depot we had before. Tram stops. We've got boat lines. Is that ferries or is it just sort of cargo boats coming and going? We've got I'm assuming this is some sort of train, but it's like a cargo type train here, doesn't it? Oh, there's just so much going on. All the vehicles over there as well.
And intricate.
Intricate
Use
indeed.
the
this is the view. This is the view. Let's skip back.
complex and intricate.
Okay, I'm going to go frame by frame so we don't miss this one. There we go. Look at that. This is what I was looking at. I think this is train lines coming in here. So maybe that's the cargo module upgrade, question mark? Or there was mention there was cargo trains. We've seen it in the little info views that we had. So maybe that's attached to the side here and then goes down to a train line into the city. So, yeah, but that thing is just... Look at it. Ah, majestic.
Transportation overview to review passenger and cargo transportation networks separately.
We're going to go into this in a bit more detail later, these lines.
High-level details about individual lines and toggle them on or off. Use the transportation info view to understand the impact of your networks. Plan and manage transportation networks carefully to find the right tempo.
And I'm liking the look of this as well. So we've got the metro coming in here. I think that's the overground metro station we saw before because it had the parking right behind. That road layout looks familiar. So maybe that's been added in next to the airport. And then this building here would be the train with the train lines. But you've got like cargo stuff here. So, and the fact it looks so connected, maybe it is an upgrade part added on there. Okay. Yeah, very good. Very nice.
For the movement of people and cargo. Conducted perfectly, and every citizen, trader, and tourist will march your city toward greatness.
Great looking cargo trains. Massive hospital. There's definitely a hospital. Look, you got the little hospital symbol there with helipads. Helipads, hospitals confirmed for ambulances, confirmed for the base game. So we're getting something from the DLCs brought in early on, which is great. Got a lot of waterfront stuff going on down here. Trying to see whether that's some sort of harbour building or not. I mean, there's a car park. I don't know. Without a boat or something coming and going, it's hard to tell. But, oh, there we go. So much to look at and learn from all of this. And we're going to come back to a lot of the things that we've mentioned a bit later. But now we're going to just take a roll back to the Dev Insight that came out on Thursday, managing traffic. And there's a lot more secrets and things that we can glean from that. So let's take a look at that. Right, here we go. Dev Insight, managing traffic. Let's dive into this one.
Let's talk about traffic AI.
It says their game footage captured in beta builds. I was thinking this little bit here is just stunning and then realise it's a real life shot of Finland. Their offices, brilliant. I'd love to go one day. That'd be great. Meet everybody.
The agents chose their pathfinding based on how close they are to something where they want to go. In Cities Skylines 2, the agents actually calculate the pathfinding cost. And that pathfinding cost is based on multiple different factors.
Pathfinding consists of 4 major factors. The first one is time. The agents, all agents, be it citizens or trucks or anything in the city, they will always calculate how long it takes to travel from one.
I want to just look at some of the chirps that come up over here. Such a nice balmy weather, perfect for enjoying the outdoors. So we know there's going to be weather. We get seasons, don't we? We've got summer down here. I think we see that. Well, I think we've had autumn show up, but we know what the 4 seasons are, hopefully. So is the weather going to affect people leaving the house and then affect the traffic and traveling? Just a little question there to think about that one.
One place to the other.
Then over here, we've also got job level. So we know we've got their education, which they'll work through as they get older. We know we've got their wealth now as well, which is something slightly different. But job level, manager. So depending on their education and wealth, they get different job levels. Is that how that ties in? We've seen this down the side here as well, where we've got the household, how many people in the household. And that seems to relate to this. So we've got 2 people in the household, this one and this one. Then we've got this individual person, in this case, Jennifer Marino. Then we've got this little plus down here. Have we spoken about that before? What are we adding that person into? Well, we're following the person with this. Are we adding that person to something like a list, which again would be a mod that we've had in Cities Skylines 1? Is anybody keeping track of all the mods that are being added? And if we look over here, we've got this same symbol, this little person down there. So are we adding them to a list? That is something I'd like to know. And we've got this list here. What is this list? We've got the chirps, something to do with people, and then is that like just a note-taking app in the game? Because there's so many new things that are going on that we need to take notes. Okay, let's continue.
And this can be
Here we go. Building bonuses. The Incasarium. I think that's where they're going to work. Giving us bonuses in the city. So office efficiency citywide. Plus 5% interest in university education. So they seem to be rolling some of the policies into placing buildings that give these benefits. So +1 graduation chart, +5 well-being. So an area of effect of this building. Now, next week we are talking about signature buildings. So is this like a signature building that gives these bonuses rather than every single different type of building? Attractiveness we probably understand that. And then we've got this here, requires and produces. Is this some of the goods that we've been talking about shipping in and out? So we've got software, produces financial. Is this another game loop in the game where we can make these different items and try and balance them to make other goods, which we then sell? So some more things perhaps being picked up there. Let's continue.
Speed of the road or the vehicle or
so they're just downgrading the road there
that they use
to get the different speed.
And this is the major factor in deciding which way they want to travel.
Another important factor in pathfinding is comfort, which means how many turns they have to make.
Comfort, how many turns they have to make. So they're showing a turn here. So we had that mentioned in the main Dev Diary talking about traffic AI, the Monday one. And they said simpler intersections. So if you're making overly complicated intersections, or it's a lot of left turns, right turns, over roundabout, through an intersection, more turns, rather than a straight through fast road, that is less comfortable to people. So something to keep in mind there.
How near the parking is there something else that affects the comfortness of the road?
So obviously parking availability too. Nice models. Dodge Viper is that? All the motorcycles looking exactly the same. We know this is beta gameplay, it says. So I'm sure these sort of things are going to be sorted out. Because we had motorcycles with nobody on for a while, didn't we? So all these little things, they're going to be tweaked along the way, I'm sure.
Money is also an important factor in the pathfinding.
Money is usually about fuel costs for citizens, and it can also be...
So fuel costs, and we've had this mentioned a few times now. I think there's been a bit of a discussion going on about this. So do we get petrol/gas stations that we need to keep stocked with fuel that people can then purchase? Can we adjust the price on that, which then affects all of this AI calculation that comes into it? Or is it just a hidden game mechanic? We have seen some sort of petrol stations, gas stations, I'm sure, in some of the other videos sort of in the background. I'm sure people have like sent me screenshots of those sort of things. So, yeah, more questions.
Ticket fees if they use public transportation.
Again, we've got that how full each line is over here thing, which we mentioned before. Ticket price, which can affect things. How many vehicles? Now, that is worth keeping in mind because we're going to talk about depots in a bit more depth after this video. But the assigned vehicles to the line, we can use up how many vehicles a depot has, which is something worth keeping in mind.
And then, last but not least, is the behavior. Most agents in the city follow all the normal traffic laws, ride on the right side of the road and don't make rash decisions in traffic, but certain vehicles...
So I thought at first here this ambulance was driving on the pavement, but this is obviously the medical facility, so they're just going up there to drop their people off.
Emergency vehicles.
There we go. But this here, look, we can see this traffic is all stopping. So this ambulance can do a U-turn here, which is great, because that is what we want to see, people giving way to emergency vehicles.
More dangerous decisions in traffic, such as making U-turns and thus cutting the travel time to their destination if they are responding to emergencies. And sometimes some citizens can go...
Now watch this yellow car here. These lights have turned yellow. So they shouldn't have gone necessarily. I mean, it depends how quickly they turn yellow. Oh, it'll be these ones over here. Hang on, they're going this way, so they'd be looking at the lights facing that way. We can't actually see. I'm assuming they're possibly red.
Through traffic lights on the old greens.
Yeah, so now they're going red there. So that would be the lights for these people here, wouldn't it? I'm a bit confused about the way the lights are facing here because normally they're straight opposite you. But anyway, the point they're making is that people try and jump lights to save a bit of time, which I think is interesting. And we've seen people running across what I would call zebra crossings, pedestrian crossings, as the lights change as well. So nice little addition there.
Trying to sneak in on the last second before the traffic light turns to red.
In pathfinding, different age groups value different things. For example, teens value money because they have none, adults value time because they have so little of it, and seniors prefer the comfort because they are in their leisure time of the year.
Here we see them using all the lanes, which is great. That's what we want to see. Still a bit of stacking up going on here, but I bet these are all turning left. So we'll let them off.
Road lanes, yes, they are still in Cities Skylines too.
Now the vehicles will use all the lanes available.
Hooray!
So if you have a traffic light intersection where one lane is filled with cars now, the other cars will pick the open lanes and then fill that intersection evenly.
So using all the lanes, plus the little additions that we've seen where we can say you can't turn left or right here in this lane or that lane. I still haven't seen a straight on one, which would be great, although I'm pretty sure that was confirmed on Twitter that they're not adding the ability to take away straight on. Whether you can do them by lane or whether it's the whole road, you'd say don't turn right on this one. I think that's yet to be confirmed or denied, so be interested to see if that comes up at all at any point.
Oh, traffic accidents. Oh, traffic is that so cool feature.
I showed this little clip earlier because it was on Cities Skylines TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but somebody pointed it out to me. And so I didn't leak anything early. But as you watch this, if we go back, we'll watch it in normal time, then we'll go back and watch it a bit slower.
Traffic is that so cool feature.
These can be caused by poor road condition.
There we go. So as we go through this, we see, I'll go back a little bit more, we see the yellow car loses control. Getting excited about track. So we go, yellow car loses control, hits the blue car, which then gets the physics and loses control. And then I think it's the blue car hits the next yellow car, which knocks it into the yellow car. And the second yellow car knocks the part blue car in front, which then bobbles up as well. There's a little bit of lesser reaction as it goes along. So we're decaying sort of, otherwise cars will be bouncing around forever. This pedestrian narrowly missed out on being hit. But I think that is fantastic addition to the game, which then you can see the little traffic accident symbol pops up. So that then needs to be cleared by, I'm assuming, maintenance vehicles. If anybody's injured, that would need to be sorted out as well. So great addition to the game.
Lighting condition, weather, and natural disasters.
Accident there by the look of it. Another one there.
Happen. And the car loses a control, which can also then lead to bigger traffic jams.
Very small accident.
Traffic accidents, the players can add traffic lights and also keep the roads in good condition. Traffic info view shows.
Now the info views, again, we're going to dive a little bit more in those, but we're getting these two different types of info views, which I'm enjoying those. I like those, and it's going to be great seeing how they work. I don't think you can show them both at the same time, though, by the look of it. I think we're going to see that.
The overall state of the city's traffic.
Which sort of makes sense,
traffic flow, the traffic volume of the city, etc., etc.
The road info view itself is kind of like two-parter. The one info view is about the whole city. Then you can also select individual
road traffic view. And again, as pointed out, we've got the time over here, so it changes. I mean, maybe not this road particular. It seems pretty okay all the time, but the volume's going up and down. So we've got like a 6 in the morning bump and we've got a 6 in the evening bump. So is that like on the way to work, on the way home from work, real-time mods as we were talking about before? I'm loving that addition if that's true.
Their own road info view and all information about that in more in depth. You can also see traffic flow and volume of that particular street or road.
There are different types of service vehicles. Some are responding to a call, like ambulances, for example, and then there are some service vehicles which are just patrolling the city, like police cars or garbage vehicles which are collecting garbage. Players can choose from the district info panel which service buildings are working inside the district.
So again, mod added, selecting districts. So they're now going to take this police station and they're going to put it into certain districts to work, which is great. And also we've got patrolling, as they said, and then you've got one like garbage that are going round. And we learned before that they will, if they're already in the middle of a route, they will be given information. Then we need to go over there and collect some rubbish now as well. So they won't go and collect and go back home half empty. They'll go out, collect. Oh, more to collect. And then they'll go back home, which makes much more sense. And this district thing as well, with the map sizes I think we're talking about and the way things are all spread out, like here, before you'd have a police car called from over here to all the way over here and it'd be a nightmare. Now you could say, just stay in this little district, which would be great. There's been a chirp that I've been waiting to come up on the screen, but it hasn't come up yet. If I spot it, it's something to do with gas stations. Keep your eye open for it.
The service building can work in multiple districts. It's also a very good feature because that was also requested in Cities Skylines 1 fans. It's one of my favorites, and it also helps manage the city a lot better because you can control where the city service is actually affecting.
Yeah, and I think that is a great thing to add as well. Anything that gives you options and control over how your city works is great fun. We've got an upgrade down here as well, possibly adding more vehicles. We've got vehicles in use 4, maybe that's what it is.
For example, if you want to have other side handled by the whole police and other side of the city has different services, you can control where they are affecting.
Just like in Cities Skylines 1, Cities Skylines 2 also features traffic between other cities.
So we've got these outside connections, which are fantastic. If you look at this here, a power line connection point for enabling electricity import and export. So yeah, definitely confirmed we can import and export electricity. I think we've missed the chirp that I was looking for. So let me just run back and find that. This is it. Running out of #fuel. Visit our new gas station at this address. That looks like it's clickable, or maybe it's just highlighted so you can see it. And what's this star up here? What does that mean? So that's an interesting little addition that you don't always get on all the little chirps that we get out here. So again, thinking we're going to have gas stations. We'll find out. Right, back to the outside city connections.
1, Cities Skylines 2 also features traffic between other cities in the form of traffic traveling from one outside connection.
So this one is right up in the air, and I think as they click on it, yeah, that is an outside connection point for creating passenger airplane lines and cargo airplane routes. So it's looking like now what you do is you make your own routes and lines, even for planes, cargo and passenger, which I think is fantastic. Again, I'm hoping that that's also internal in the city. So I want a plane going from this side of my city to the other, but definitely going to the outside of the city, as we can see here. And this one's right up in the air, isn't it? Brilliant addition.
These vehicles can contribute to the traffic in your city if they find a route cheaper and faster through the city instead of one of the highways.
If the player city is exporting certain city service vehicles at outside connection, the player can get monetary income from that exporting service. On the other hand, if the player is lacking some city service, they can import it from the outside connection, but for a fee.
Of course. Yeah, there we go. So exporting, importing, making money, giving a cost, help if we need it. So yeah, how deep that goes, I can't wait to see that. And what does that include then? We've got electricity. It says services, so water and sewage as well. Sell people's sewage to be processed, and water, excess water, as well as excess electricity. Nice. I like this one. We've got like a key wall sort of going on here, not on this side, but we have on this side, which I think is really nice. I think we've seen these sort of key areas sticking out a few times from different angles, overhead views and things, but key walls confirmed then for in the game, or perhaps this sort of cut and fill that we've had mentioned a few times. So I'm liking that. Looks beautiful as well, doesn't it? Looks beautiful. And these sort of people have got their lights on and you can almost see inside the building here. I'm assuming that's sort of some outside picture. I don't know the technical terms that's put on there rather than actually seeing in the building, because goodness me, that would blow your PC up, wouldn't it? Snowing or raining?
You have to do like a thanks for watching, you know, the cliche YouTube ending.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.
Smash that like button. Love it. So now we've got the written dev diary that goes into so much more information about all the transport options. So let's take a dive into that. Okay, so let's dive into the dev diary for the public and cargo transportation from Colossal Order's website. And looking at our first picture here, we've got the lovely Colossal Order buses. I'm really liking the look of those, fantastic. But confirmed transport for Cities Skylines 2 is bus, tram, train, ship, plane for passengers, and trucks, vans, trains, ships, and planes for cargo. And also, they say that every land-based public transport type has a depot for maintenance and providing the vehicles. And we'll talk a bit more about these depots as we go along. So yes, first of all, we've got buses. We've got standard fuel buses and electric buses are all in the game from the start. We need a bus depot to provide the vehicles and the maintenance. Again, modules are confirmed because you'll need to upgrade your bus depot to maintain your fleet of electric buses. So it looks like you'll get the normal buses first, then you'll pay for an upgrade, which I'm sure will come with some initial costs and then an ongoing maintenance cost. And then you get your electric bus option as well. And as we saw earlier, a big change to the way lines work inside and outside your city. So it looks like we have to make any external lines that go to the cities that we don't see ourselves, and we'll talk more about that as we go along. But definitely for inner city buses, we create the lines that then go around our city. But intercity buses, they can also come and connect to the bus station or to bus stops, which again is a new thing for Cities Skylines 2. And talking of stops, you can place your own stop signs or shelters. So we've got some shelters we can see on the left there for picking up and dropping off. And again, that's a slight change to how we make our lines, because we place the stops and the shelters first, then you place your lines afterwards. So next we have taxis, and we already know that pocket cars are a thing of the past. So as well as helping your citizens move around internally in your city, taxis will help people come from external cities into your cities if they don't have a car. So that's how that's going to work. So some people are going to turn up with no car, you know, by train or ship, by taxi, by plane, and then they can move around the city. So whether that means they'll be able to buy a car or just rely on all the public transportation, which I'm sure is possibly the thing. We've not had any car dealerships pop up as part of the game, so I'm sure that's how it's going to work. Again, for taxis, you need the depot for fleet maintenance and modules that allow you to upgrade so you can pick up passengers not only from taxi stands, which you will probably place around the city, but then from anywhere in the city. Someone can flag down a taxi if you've got that upgrade module. And also electric vehicles are available with the bonus of less noise and air pollution, I'm assuming, again from another upgrade module that you can add to your taxi depot, which I think this is probably what we're seeing here in the picture. So we've got a couple of different pictures here when we're talking about the train. So we've got confirmed intercity and local transport trains. This is a depot or rail yard. We can see all the different lines coming out either side. All sorts of things going on here. A cargo attachment or upgrade, or a cargo train station there, because we've got all the cargo piled up out the back. Again, this is needed to provide maintenance to your fleet of trains. So I'm not sure whether trains will get to a certain point, or any of the vehicles, where their sort of maintenance counter hits 0 and they have to go back to the depot for maintenance, or is it something that they just sort of get upkept automatically? I guess we'll see about that. Also, when placing your track, we've got the new cut and fill mechanic, which we spoke about previously, where it automatically adds, if you're building and the land sort of goes down to the side, you know, it's cutting through the land, it will sort of fill that in if it needs to, or if the land raises up to the side of the network you're placing, it will fill that in with sort of like a concrete barrier. That's basically what it is. But tracks come two-way, double or one-way variety, and also confirmed that all rail transport, so that's trains and trams, are reversible. So that's another mod that's been added, reversible tram AI it was called, wasn't it? But we've now got that with trams and trains. And also confirmed that train stations can be upgraded again with additional modules that provide more platforms and connections to other forms of public transport. So we've sort of spotted, didn't we, in the earlier video, it looked like there was a metro added onto the side of it. So whether things get added later on that we can then upgrade, add the modules on. But that seems to me perhaps there's like a bus looking like on this picture here, maybe a bus sort of set up out at the front or built-in taxi stand, something like that. So we will see. Very exciting stuff for the trains. So then we have trams. Nice looking tram here in this picture. We know it's very easy to add tram lines to any road. I say any road. I'm assuming highway roads, you wouldn't necessarily add them to those. That wouldn't really make much sense. But any other road inside the city, I think we'll probably be able to add to those. You will need, of course, a depot for giving you the amount of trams that you have and also the maintenance that they will need. Also, you get one-way, double tracks, again with this cut and fill. So with all these depots that we keep mentioning, I foresee people building huge depot areas in future cities, which is quite exciting. Looking forward to that. So now we're on to subway, or metro as I would like to call it. Again, above and below ground available. We can see in this picture here just a nice little simple subway station, which is going to lead people underground with the steps going down. Again, you need a subway depot or yard to provide the trains and to maintain them. You get one-way, double tracks, and again, cut and fill is on the cards again, which obviously if you're placing them below ground, you won't need that. Above ground, we'll be able to do that. Be interesting to see how that works, because we've perhaps seen it in a few pictures, but not actually seen it in practice with somebody placing a network, I don't think anyway. So yeah, maybe keep your eyes open for that. Then we have water transportation. So we have passenger and cargo options here with intercity ships on the harbour and some sort of cargo ships as well, which we saw in the video. Again, we're told we need to make our own connection. So it looks like visiting tourists from outside the city won't automatically turn up just because you've placed a harbour and then a ship turns up with them full up. So it looks like maybe we need to draw our own transport lines again to the edge of the map to enable that function, which sort of makes sense with what we've seen earlier on in the video, drawing those lines to the edge of the map. Just looking at this harbour here, it looks like maybe on the right there by the water's edge, is that some sort of cargo addition, or is that maybe a bus upgrade module or something like that? To sort of link these things together. And of course we've got trams out there on the street as well. So yeah, linking the transport together, great job. And air transportation. And as I mentioned in the video, the one thing that strikes me here is the size of the airports. The international variety apparently being the size of a small town, in the words of the Dev Diary video. That is huge. And again, we need to create our own transport lines to the outside. I'm assuming for cargo and for passengers, because both are supported. Or is there different types of airport for those? I don't know. We sort of maybe sometimes see, like in this picture, little cargo things stacked up by the front of the airport. So maybe again that's upgradable modules, or maybe there's two different sorts of airport like we've seen before. Is there depots for planes, or is the airport going to count for that? I don't think that was mentioned, so that will be interesting to see. Also, it's mentioned that there are zones that are shown when you're placing these airports, which will then limit the height of the buildings in the takeoff and landing area. So adding that little bit of realism to the airports, because we all remember in Cities Skylines 1, you place your airport down, not quite sure which way the planes are going to go, particularly if you're in vanilla and can't see where the transport lines are in the air that are already there. And your plane then takes off and flies straight through a load of high-rise, buildings. So that will be getting rid of that. And yeah, as I said, adding more realism. Fantastic. So now we're on to cargo. We know that cargo is obtainable and movable in the vanilla game via truck, train, ship, and plane. We've got the train cargo terminal set up here. They also have a built-in warehouse and act as a distribution center for storage and incoming and outgoing cargo. And also cargo lines are mentioned again. So I'm hoping we're given the option of where to send our cargo in the city. We've had the lines shown on the screen before with the info view, and the one for the trucks at the moment always seems to be blank. Whereas you can set up your cargo lines. I'm assuming, again, going outside the city, you'd need to set those up like we've perhaps seen for other things as well. But the truck traffic, can we tell that where to go to other distribution centres? Or once it's picked up, does it then just go out to where it's needed? But yeah, truck traffic still going to be a thing, I reckon, around the train terminal. So maybe I'm not going to be out of a job of fixing traffic in people's cities. Hooray! And then, of course, we have the cargo ship. So the cargo harbours also store cargo and goods, and again will be a source of traffic. So a comeback of the cargo traffic sponge, anybody that we all know and love from Cities Skylines 1? Well, we'll find out, won't we? A train module is available for the cargo harbour. Hopefully that's not with the train line sticking over the water. And I'm looking at this picture here, and it looks to me like the train line is to the right of the little setup that we've got here with all the containers. So that would be fantastic. And then with our cargo train lines, can we have the majority of our cargo perhaps arrive by ship, then be moved around the city by train, and then locally picked up by trucks? Stopping that old AI issue of everybody using the nearest cargo train terminal for everything and clogging up the city with never-ending traffic. Maybe, hopefully that's the way it's going to work. And then cargo planes. So it perhaps seems like cargo airports are not necessarily a separate airport, but more a module you can upgrade your main airport with, which, you know, that makes more sense to me. You've already got all the runways and everything there, so you'd want to make sure you get the best use out of those you can. Again, we need to attach manually to the outside connection, so giving us more control over what comes in and what goes out, which is great. So big changes to the transport line, which is very interesting to see. More info on the depots were given that each one has a set number of vehicles it can manage, which can be upgraded with additional building modules. Again, we're seeing that. Wondering how much space we're going to need to leave around our place buildings to be able to add these modules in. That'll be interesting to see. And a change to how we lay out our transport lines now. So stops are placed first, and then the line is added separately, and also a new feature which I think is absolutely fantastic, and that is the ability to add waypoints. Oh, thank you. So no more will buses take the weird way around our road system. We can see in the picture here, perhaps you could work out where the bus would normally go, straight across that busy junction at the top. But the blue line has a waypoint being inserted on bus line number 8 on the lower line, on the lower road, I should say, missing that busy junction and keeping the buses flowing. So things like that is excellent. Help us to keep our traffic flowing. Anything that puts more things under our control is a big win for me. Also, something else that's mentioned, and a huge change, talking about development points used on a development tree, so we can choose which transportation options we want to unlock ourselves. Again, more choice equals more fun in building our cities. That's a big win for me. Will this development tree also let us unlock other things? Could it, speaking about just the transport, but maybe building, services, other items? Because I've spoken about this before, that was one of my biggest gripes with Cities Skylines 1, was how easily you can be overwhelmed as soon as you hit a milestone, which we do in our videos quite often. Suddenly you've unlocked 50 new items and loads of stuff from a content creator pack and new services, and now we've got the citizens wanting all of these things immediately, and it's just like, But now if we can choose where we're going to spend our development points on this development tree, again, that keeps things under our control more, and we're going to see different types of cities, not all sort of going along the same route. Well, now we've got buses, well, now we've got trams. Everything could be unlocking differently. So that is absolutely brilliant. And if you want to see how that works, we'll find out on the August the 28th Dev Diary. I'm guessing, because I haven't seen it yet, of course. That's called Game Progression. So subscribe and we'll all find out together if it's under that one. And then talking about our transport lines, here we have the airport outside connections that we've been talking about, flying all up in the air. So that, I don't think that was a laser light show disco that we saw before, was it? It was these. And we can see where the little blue dots are in the sky that you can connect to. So maybe we can choose which direction we want our planes to go, how many are coming and going, whether we even connect them all up at all, you know, just passenger, not cargo, that sort of thing. I guess we'll find that out as well. But again, lots of things under our control. I'm loving it. So now we're looking at our transportation info view and overview. And in this one here, we've got our lines listed on the side in the transportation box. So as always, our public transportation, we've got all the information there. But the cargo one we're interested in. So it shows the routes and the cargo. Again, the trucks. Are we going to get that granular control over our trucks with lines? Or is it just the trains, the ships and the planes? Well, I guess we'll see that. But we get information how much cargo is being carried. So that's more information is good for making good decisions in our cities. And then we've got our transportation overview. And now night and day lines make more sense. We've had those, the option to turn them on and off for night and day in Cities Skylines 1, I think, in vanilla. Am I thinking of a mod? I think it was in vanilla. But now it makes more sense because we've sort of almost confirmed that real time's in, because we've seen traffic can go up and down on different times of the day. We've seen on those info views. So if that's true, then line adjustments for at night would make sense. For different times of the day when there's more or less traffic, you can have different lines set up. More buses, larger buses perhaps in the day and at rush hour, smaller buses, less buses at night to save money. So again, more granular options to help us in designing our transportation. And of course we can change the color, turn the lines on and off, look at the details, which we've seen in other pictures, and the nice usage figure as well. That is always helpful. So you might set up bus lines, train lines, tram lines, metro lines, and find that the usage is only higher at certain points of the day. So that can help you decide how you're going to set up those lines. And look, New Dollarton's making money. Lots of people point out how it's never making any money. It can make money. Look at that. And then the detailed line view, we've mentioned how you can sort of see how many passengers are in your vehicles, which is great. We have ticket price, which we know goes a long way into the traffic AI that we spoke about last time. This traffic AI for everybody, for the people as well, not just for the cars. Is it going to be too expensive? And it's going to mean that people with lower wealth can't even use it. We've seen that on one of the pop-ups. Or is it going to be available for everybody? How many vehicles are assigned? And that's going to need balancing, because it sounds like our depots will give you a certain amount of number of vehicles, and then you've got to assign those among your lines. So I don't know whether it will let you, like it says on here, assign vehicles 4 out of 14. Is that 14 because this is tram line 2 and they're both coming out of one depot, and that only gives you 28 vehicles, so 14 on this line and 14 on the other line? Something along those lines. We'll see, won't we? Then you've got the schedule, day or night or both, and the colour and all that sort of thing. So some excellent information there that's going to help us with our lines and tweaking it to really optimize your city. So there we go. Which additions to the new public and cargo transportation of Cities Skylines 2 are you most looking forward to? Let me know in the comments below, and if I missed anything or there's any other news that's come out, drop a comment so I know. And then don't forget to subscribe so you can be back here on next Monday as we take a deep dive into zones and signature buildings. Dev Diaries. Have a great day. Thanks for your support. Take care. Bye-bye.